So freedom of speech must only not exist in crazy countries like North Korea, right? Well, actually no, it's made its way to most of the free world. Free speech doesn't exist in many parts of Europe. Many houses in Germany have been raided for social media posts and hate speech. Thousands have been arrested in the UK for Facebook and social media posts. Okay. Having an off opinion is now a crime. But what is hate speech? Because to people who hate the truth would be hate speech. For selfish or egotistical people who hate any perspective besides their own, any outside conversation would be hate speech. Freedom of speech is a cornerstone in United States culture and is probably the reason we haven't ended up in a dire place. But that's being ripped away from us before our very eyes. The world is now run by computers, and arguably the top internet companies have more power than some governments. And they're all obsessed with hate speech. I'm a very nice person. I don't like hate either. But I don't think they're enforcing it honestly, accurately, or fairly. Twitter CEO has admitted that he has a left-leaning bias. 100 employees from Facebook recently rallied against a problem with political diversity and mob mentality of any thought outside of the liberal Facebook bubble. Google has been under scrutiny recently when a report found that 96% of the search results for Trump led people to liberal websites. 96%. But if you listen to Twitter, Facebook, or Google with a heavy left-leaning agenda, you wouldn't think it was 96% their opinions versus 4% outside perspectives. You would think it was 96% everybody else and we're being attacked and we need to close and shut everybody down and silence them and ban them and censor them because it's a huge right-wing problem. The only real problem is that's not true at all. It's the other way around. So in response, they've been demonetizing people, taking their money away on multiple platforms, giving tens of millions of dollars to the big mainstream media corporations, deleting entire channels in a coordinated effort between Facebook, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and others, and lobbying for more hate speech control and information control. I will repeat, people's houses are being raided in Germany for social media posts. Thousands of people have been arrested in the UK for speech and social media posts. We now have in the US a culture where you can't differ from the mainstream opinion or you lose your job, you get attacked by the mob, you have big groups lobbying to have Visa and MasterCard take away your money, places like Patreon which were created to escape the censorship and the demonetization. So my simple question here is, how much do you value free speech? How much are you willing to let it go because a few hipster bloggers at Vice have an obsession with chasing around white nationalists? The leader of them, which recently admitted his favorite two presidents in history were Democratic Party presidents.
What would be your take on, say, Reagan?
I do not think that he was a great president.
Who's your favorite president?
There is something about Jackson. There's something about Polk as well, someone who only served one term.
But I mean, Jackson and Polk, as you know, both Democrats.
Party is just the vessel that one uses.
I mean, Jackson's the founder of the Democratic Party.
And on that note, I have to remind people, leaders like Mussolini and Hitler were not right-wing dictators. They were racist, nationalistic, left-wing socialists. The left wing has an obsession with control, with power. Systemically, the right wing says more freedom, less taxes, less government control, and less regulations. The left wing says more government control, bigger government, and more regulations. So it's not hard to see how some of the most evil regimes in modern history rose to power through the left wing. Politics and history aside, I want to ask Americans again, how much do we value free speech? How far are we going to let these internet companies, who basically run the country in many ways, regulate that free speech with hate speech? Once again, what is hate speech? Because it looks like to me many employees at these companies and many people in the United States have been socially engineered and programmed to hate the truth, to hate anybody else with a different perspective than theirs, to hate everybody in the name of love, equality, and inclusion. Hate, unless you follow the left-wing agenda. And that's a very dangerous ideology to have. I don't care if it's coming from the left, and I don't care if it's coming from the right. It just so happens now that it's coming from the left. That's why, as a lifelong liberal, I no longer support progressives or Democrats because they fail to understand this, hide their twisted ideology behind women, children, the LGBT community, people of different ethnicities, false labels like affordable and free, and have built up such a lack of self-awareness that it's not hard for me to see how good people can be misled to do very bad things. Let's start the conversation and let's stop the United States of America from ending up like many other countries, losing our freedom of speech.